Today I will be doing my presentation on the teacher shortage due to the COVID-19 outbreak that we just recently had. So the question is, who will teach? By Jessica Dyke. So school districts are currently facing huge teacher shortages as well as substitute teaching shortages. So let's look into why that is. So there are teacher shortages because low pay, high qualification requirements, COVID-19 risk, chaotic schedules, and misbehaving students. So low pay. The yearly cost of living in Elko, Nevada is approximately $23,484. The annual salary for a teacher is $42,856. The substitute teaching pay is $95.76 per day. So this all equals out to approximately $1,957 per month to live in Elko, Nevada. So once you take away the cost of TV, internet, entertainment, health insurance, any dependents you have, their food, there's not a lot of money left. So the qualifications. So in order to be a teacher, you need to have a Class 2 license, you need to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited program, you have to have, the program has to be approved by the Nevada Teacher Participation Program, you have to finish your student teaching, there is the praxis test you have to pass, fingerprinting, background checks, certification of education packet, you got to pay your fee, and some districts have additional requirements in order to become a teacher. That's a lot of requirements. None of them are either easy. And to be a substitute teacher, you need to be a citizen of the U.S., you need to have 60 college credits or an associate's degree, you need to have a Nevada substitute license, you need to have fingerprints, you need to have a district substitute application. So that's a lot of work. So you put a lot of work in, you get a little pay. It makes it really hard to draw people to the career of teaching because they can find higher pay in other professions. They're all highly qualified, they're all really smart. They can get really good jobs out in the private sector. So how do we lower them in? So COVID-19, what are the risks in general of contracting COVID-19? So there are short-term risks, fever, cough, loss of taste and smell, fatigue, I believe depression is one of them, and you can die. All not fun. So long-term effects of COVID-19. So chest pain, memory problems, depression, organ damage, blood clots, a whole slew of things that we haven't even discovered yet. So every day a teacher goes to school, they take the risk of contracting COVID-19. So COVID-19 is highly contagious. Children love to spread germs. Absolute favorite hobby. Their germs, their friends' germs, their family's germs, everybody's germs. They're all equal. So teachers have a really high risk of contracting COVID. That and you're in a small room with a whole bunch of people. There's a lot of people in a school that you come into contact with all day long. So high rate of transmission, kids which are extra great at sharing, and close proximity are all factors in the odds of you catching COVID-19. So schools, definitely a great place to get COVID-19. So a lot of people who are teaching have been teaching a long time. A lot of people who are substitute teachers are actually retired teachers. A lot of them are not young. The odds of getting this disease and dying from it or having serious ramifications is really high. So The risk of just getting COVID-19 in general is a great reason for a lot of people to retire early and to not start teaching or to leave the teaching profession because it's scary. So, some issues that the school has come across specifically because of COVID-19. There are a lot of schools that are suffering from increased class size. Teachers are losing prep time because they're filling in for other teachers because other teachers aren't there. As part of the expanding class size, they don't have enough subs to cover, so they ask your class to take in 5 more students for the day. That's 5 more students you have to pay attention to. That's 5 more students you have to educate. That's 5 students you have to learn who they are and how they think in order to be successful at. So teachers are losing prep time because of COVID because they're filling in for other teachers, whether it be to illness, quarantine, or just the fact that we can't always be there. So additional stress. Teachers are having to deal with, kids that are scared. They don't know what's happening. We have COVID-19. We're wearing masks. Where there's emotional stress involved with COVID in general. There's more work to be done, less time. You're making online assignments. You're making in-class assignments. Not all the students are coming to class every day. Not all the students are online every day. So you just got a lot more stress. More to do, less time to do it in, equal pay. Increased shortage of teachers. So because of COVID-19, a lot of teachers are retiring early. A lot of teachers are leaving the profession because they don't want to get COVID. Okay, COVID-19 changes to teaching. So it's making additional lesson plans for at home and in-class students. Teachers are having to learn the new technology required to make the online lessons. They're having to learn new strategies to teach things online where they can't be right there to help every single student every second. So they're having to adapt their strategies and their plans and their activities. They're having to collaborate with more people in order to make things happen. They're having to teach parents how to help their student to be successful in the online environment, watching their child's progress online, helping their child to complete their work, teaching their child. Parents are gaining a lot of responsibilities too. There's going to be irregular grading because students are going to be gone for quarantine for weeks at a time. Teachers are going to be gone for quarantine for weeks at a time. So teachers aren't getting grading done, so it's getting all backed up. Students are gone, so then they come back and then there's all this extra grading because it's all just stacking up. Schedules. So because we have a teacher shortage, specialist teachers are being forced to take over core curriculum classes. For example, PE teachers are having to magically be the English teacher because there is no one else. Paraprofessionals are having to be the, second grade teacher because there's no one else. Teachers are having to sacrifice their prep time to oversee someone else's class because that teacher isn't there today. So, teachers aren't having access to their paraprofessionals because their paraprofessionals are filling in for another teacher who's not there. Teachers are getting extra students because teachers aren't there and there aren't subs and there aren't other people to take those classes. Today, am I going to teach a class online? Am I going to be in class today? Is my whole class going to be quarantined tomorrow? Am I going to have 50% of my class? They just have no idea what to expect because of COVID. So it makes scheduling pretty impossible. And to make it all worse, the substitute situation is basically the same. So substitutes are pretty used to having a chaotic schedule. Teachers get sick, they ask you if you can fill in. But they don't know if they're teaching an online class. They don't know if they're teaching in-person class. They don't know if everyone's going to be going to be required to wear masks. So there's just a lot of unknown. Like, the subs aren't getting prep time either because they're filling in. It's a lot of unknown, which causes stress. So misbehavior. So students missed at least a year and a half of real traditional schooling, as we would call it, which means they didn't spend time with their teachers, they didn't practice sharing, they didn't practice how to stand in line, they didn't practice how to fill out forms on the computer, they didn't practice all these skills that normally they would have by the time they are at a certain grade level in school. So the students are educationally behind, they're emotionally behind, they're socially behind. They didn't have a year and a half of their life to make friends. So it's like starting from scratch, behavior-wise. There's no foundation for a lot of these kids. And then the substitutes, they have a really fun time because students know that if you have a sub, you can get away with a lot more because they won't be there tomorrow. So, you know, it can be pretty lax. So then the substitutes get a lot more behaviors. And, you know, the behaviors aren't at their tip-top shape as it is. So there are a handful of benefits that have come from COVID-19. So there's been greater transparency between teachers, students, and administration because a lot of things are online. So parents can access the lessons and the videos and the documentation that their students are looking at. So actively involved parents have really transparent options now. They can see the assignments, they can review them, they can participate, they can be there during the lesson. It's really transparent for parents. There are better grading systems because we gotta be more time efficient now. Things have to be done faster because we have less time. Things need to be, I lost my train of thought. But now another benefit, which I think is the best benefit of things we got from COVID-19, is collaborative lesson planning. A lot of people have great ideas, and being forced to work in a collaborative online environment where people share ideas, I think is beneficial to everyone. Everybody can pick the best ideas and share them and build upon them and make them better. I think that is one of the better things that have come. So right now, we're still looking for solutions. We don't have a lot of solutions right now. Hopefully that will change. But some of the solutions that have been suggested are higher pay and lowering the qualifications to become a teacher. So with higher pay, some school districts are offering incentive programs and signing bonuses and long-term stay pay increases to get teachers not only in but staying. So they're talking about lowering qualifications in order to be a teacher in certain areas, which opens up a whole nother can of worms. You know, you're building a child's future. What's the lowest level of qualification to do that effectively? Do we really know? Everybody wants a higher qualified teacher, but if you can't get one, is an average Joe better than nothing? You know, these are all decisions we're going to have to make in the future. Are we willing to sacrifice qualifications in order to just have a teacher? So some local examples to tie this into our local community. Check today the Talent Ed school district hiring webpage. There are 82 teaching positions currently open right now. That is not counting substitute teachers, that is not counting speech pathologists, that's not counting guidance counselors, that's not counting bus drivers, that isn't counting the cooks, that isn't counting administration, strictly teachers. There are 82 teaching positions in Elko County right now. So that doesn't count all the ones they've already hired for the next year. And I know that they've hired multiple positions already for the upcoming year. So 82 seems like a large number, for Elko County. And that concludes my presentation. Thanks for watching.